Hey everybody, welcome to Modified Live. I am joined by Hannah, who apparently thinks everything is a joke.
No, I'm just.
There is no smiling in Modified Live, so you need to
There's
chill
a lot
out.
of smiling.
I don't know. And Caycie!
Where's the camera again?
It's right there.
I
Camera's
can't
right
see
there.
anything.
Say hi to the camera.
I'll point to it.
Everybody say
I
hi.
can't see you.
Yeah, it's alright. We had to turn the lights off in the back. Braden is not here with us tonight, and so our setup was a little bit shaky. It was confusing, but hey.
Like shaky, like.
Yeah, okay, all right. We're real professional. So we're glad that you're joining us out there, especially those of you who were with us last week for CIY, for Move At. How'd you get, what was your favorite moment from Move At last week?
Kittens.
Kittens,
Oh my gosh, yes.
really?
Kittens.
Really? So we set up this huge program. We spent all week. We did small groups. We slimed people. We killed baby watermelons. And
A bunch of
your
God stuff.
favorite memory.
I like the kittens.
What's kittens?
Kittens.
Kittens. All right. So we should do kittens again, huh? All right.
No, we should do goats.
Goats.
No, no. I mean,
All right.
okay.
All right. So if we took out kittens, what was your second favorite memory of CIY? And yours can't be the same as Caycie's. You gotta
Yeah.
Be your own self.
Either the fact that Lundy ran around in overalls.
That was my least
I
favorite.
know.
Well, the fact that he like pretended to be a character that made me
No, that was
happy.
actually Farmer
It
Ted.
was-
That was the evil Farmer
Lundy
Ted.
was-
I don't know what you're talking
I-
about.
yeah,
it was
just like-
it was definitely Lundy or Chaz.
Lundy
I'm
is
sorry,
Lundy is never in the same
But-
place as Chaz, and he's not
Actually,
in the same place
Chaz's evil twin.
as- Yeah.
That's what we came up with. That's right.
Okay. Okay.
But it was
There you
either
go.
that
There you
or
go.
like
Truth.
small groups. Small
Yeah.
groups. Maybe.
Small groups are good. Small groups are always good. They're one of our favorite parts of Modified. Yeah. What about you, Caycie?
I really liked the CIY videos. I think it was cool that they sent out like something for us to watch, even though we couldn't
Yeah.
physically be there. But it was still kind of like the same-ish, you
Yeah.
know? Like
It's
the
about
same.
the same as it could have been.
Could have been maybe
Yeah.
our hopes and dreams, but yeah.
Our hopes and dreams. Anyway, I thought it was a good week. It was fun to be with you guys. I thought especially it was really fun to just be back together in person. And so Modified for this week and for next week we're doing Modified Live. And then on the 13th of July we're going to be around the campfire at 7 p.m. Hopefully, as long as we don't go back to stage 3. If we were in stage 4, we'll be around the campfire at 7 p.m. as long as you guys stay healthy. And we'll do Modified in person. And it'll be good. It'll be a good time. So we miss you guys. And yeah, last week was just so fun to catch up. So, hey, I want to tell you about a few rules about Modified. If you're just tuning in, we are the student ministry of South Lansing Christian Church. And so we've only got 3 rules at Modified. We talk about these, every week. They're respect yourself, respect the church building, and respect other people. But I want to help you think about these from a little bit different perspective because, again, we're the student ministry of South Lansing Christian Church, and so we are a church first. We're a function. We're a community of people who gather in Jesus' name every week to grow closer to Jesus and to worship, and have small groups, and have a lot of fun too. But our primary purpose is to grow as followers of Jesus. And so as we start looking forward to meeting back in person, we just want you to know that we are going to continue to treat you students as adults, and we're going to expect you to just act like adults too. And so what that means is if your behavior is something that is causing other people to not be able to worship Jesus, or is causing a ruckus or a distraction in your small group that is not productive and is not helping you grow or somebody else grow, if what you're doing is taking people out of the moment of being here, then we're going to just ask you to modify that behavior. Whether that means turning off your phone, dropping it in the phone bucket, whether that means quitting your side conversation and tuning into whatever we're doing. I know we've been talking about this for a couple weeks on Modified Live, but we're looking forward to maybe kind of a reset for the fall. And I think things are going to be really good, and it's going to allow us all to grow closer together. And, Modified's still going to have a lot of fun. We're still going to have Stranger Strings in the fall. We're still going to have fall retreats and lock-ins. We have more.
Lock-ins. Hannah
What's your
scrunched her
favorite?
nose. I love lock-ins.
No, I was scrunching my nose at the stranger. What did you say?
Stranger Strings? Yeah.
Was
We've
that a
got
volunteer?
Christmas parties. We'll play in the gym eventually when we're allowed to. Modified will have a ton of fun, but we're primarily a church. We're primarily followers of Jesus first. So that's where we're going with that. Hey, my wife's on. Hi, Jamie. Glad you're here. Glad you're joining us. My kids are probably at home too. So Yeah, so let's talk about what else is coming up. So we have around the campfire in a couple weeks, hopefully, as long as things stay good and you guys stay healthy and Michigan stays healthy and we're all good. And then toward the end of the summer, we'll be looking at bringing our friends who are the freshmen into Modified. And so we're excited about that. It's a little bit of a smaller class this year, and so there's like 5 or 6 newbies, which will be fun.
I'm trying to think of his
We're gonna
name.
have like Demetrius.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Dennis. There are a couple of girls that I can't remember. Sorry if you're watching, I apologize. And there's somebody else. There's like 5 or 6 people. So yeah, like a little bit of a smaller class this year, but some really solid people. We're excited to have them at Modified. They'll be high schoolers. We'll kind of blow their minds with our kickoff. It'll be good times. So yeah, and then beyond that, we're looking at fall stuff. So there will hopefully, for meeting in person, be a kickoff. We generally do kickoffs outside, so I could see us throwing a giant party outside as long as the weather is good. And yeah, fun stuff. What's your favorite? How many kickoffs have you been at? 2? Like as far as
fall and summer,
fall
or
kickoff.
like-
Oh sure, fall and summer kickoffs.
Would be probably. It would be
Think about it.
summer freshman year,
Yeah.
fall freshman year, and summer of this year.
Yeah. So yes, since we skipped a summer kickoff.
Summer of sophomore year,
Yeah.
fall of sophomore.
So
year.
we did the big giant just general party outside. We did one where we had the giant inflatable balls that you could get inside of and like run over each other.
The germ.
Yeah. We've done giant sumo
Corona
suits.
catchers.
We did jousting. Lots of hitting each other apparently.
I remember the jousting one. That was a fall kickoff.
We did the glow night. We did glow night one
Yeah.
time. Glow night was pretty.
The
cool.
sumos were-
Sumo suits. Is that the one where you and Lundy got stuck in the sumo wrestling thing?
Yes.
I have video of that somewhere.
That's neither here nor there. I was literally 4 years ago. Yeah, there's some good stuff. Good stuff. I feel like there was something else that we did for kickoff that was unique. Anyways,
I've
that's
been
coming
through
up.
like,
You've been through so many. You were doing kickoffs before I was here doing kickoffs.
yeah, so they all blend together.
Yeah.
There was the luau one. I think that was my.
Oh yeah, we did the
freshman year.
luau, and the student leader team told me we should do a luau, and I thought that's dumb. I don't want to do a luau. And then they put it together, and it was fantastic. It was so leading the charge on that one were like Jaden and Braden and Lydia, people that we really miss in the student leadership team. Which, by the way, another announcement tonight is the student leadership team has multiple openings because Sophie and Lydia and Rachel are stepping out, and I feel
They
like there's
gone.
a couple. Yeah, and Sam Kenny. Like these people are gone, and we need you to sign up. So if you are interested in serving, there's a whole application process. Hannah, you should apply. We require a letter of recommendation from a teacher or boss, and then we have you just talk about your relationship with Jesus. We want you to be a Christ follower if you're a student leader here. So that's somebody who's been baptized and is faithfully following Jesus. So we talk the application as you talk about that a little bit, and then also talk about what are you going to give up, because everything in your life as a high schooler demands a little bit of attention, and as you step into student leadership, that's a commitment, and we know that there are a lot of things demanding your attention. So if you're going to step into this and commit to being a student leader, what are you going to step back from in some other area of your life so that you can actually fully engage and fully commit? But being a student leader has its perks too. It's good times. We've got our own secret Slack channel, and we get breakfast every once in a while. We haven't for 3 months, but on Saturdays, and yeah, it's good stuff. So sign up to be a student leader. Just message me, message Eric. We'll get you connected. Hey, I think that's. Oh no, Jennifer has a video of us being stuck in sumo suits.
Yeah.
It's on Vimeo or
I don't wanna see
something.
that.
It's on YouTube.
I would love to see that.
I think that's about it for announcements for tonight. Is there anything? I think that's it. So hey, speaking of weird things in 2020 and just feeling like the world is strange, we found a video this week that pretty much sums up and describes 2020 in one moment. And so here's that video. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you exactly? So, not a fisherman. Do you fish?
I've maybe fished 3 times in my life.
Yeah,
And that's what it looks like.
As well. Yeah. Caycie, do you fish?
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that guy might be able to teach you a thing or two. So,
Or
yeah.
what not to do.
My family fishes without me. So Jamie and the kids go out and they fish and they catch hundreds of bluegill. And we just had fish tacos this week. We had bass and bluegill that Jamie and the kids caught, and it was delicious. But I don't fish at all.
It's a hard pass. I have to touch the worms.
Well, that's the thing. Every time I go out and do gardening in my yard, Jamie comes out and she's like, "Where are the worms?" And she's digging through it, and trying to not like cut her fingers off with a shovel as I'm shoveling. Anyways,
I love that.
We live a magical life. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so that was one thing, and then so I grew up on a farm. Do you guys know what a silo is? I think
Yeah.
everybody knows what a silo
The
is.
thing that holds the stuff.
Did you know that there are two kinds of silos?
There's
Shut
like
up, Dad.
there's a gray one and a red one.
No, there's actually a gray one and a blue one, but good try. The gray ones are high moisture, and the blue ones are not.
It's
So.
like the all metal. Are they all metal?
No,
or-
the gray ones are cement. And so a lot of people used to have these high moisture silos when they were
Aren't there,
feeding
like, tin
animals in
ones?
person.
It's
Like
what I
the little
thought,
tin
like the-
silos?
Yeah, those are called grain bins. That's different. Caycie.
That's not a silo?
No, it's a grain bin. It's
I'm just
completely
now-
different.
I'm realizing
What is that
how
called?
little,
Because
like,
it's
the
not a
word-
grain bin.
That
It's
should
a
be-
grain bin!
That should be next week's game. Silo or grain bin.
Yeah, well,
They're
I
all
would
silos.
totally win that.
They're all
Anyways,
silos.
so farmers used to have all these high moisture silos. I'm giving you a history lesson that you don't care about right now, but it's great. They used to have these high moisture silos. My uncle still has a bunch of them because he has dairy cows and he feeds all of his cows out of these silos. But a lot of people want to take them down, and so you've got this giant cement tower that's a cylinder. And so there's a whole genre on YouTube of videos that you can watch where like crazy hillbillies go in and they like fell silos with a sledgehammer. And so they'll go in and they'll knock out parts of the cement until all of a sudden like the whole silo falls over because they're weakening it. Well, somebody decided that was too dangerous because it's radically dangerous. It's ridiculous. Don't do this. And they took an excavator, and this is what happened. Eric and I found this week. This is good. Are we back? Hey, yeah, we're back. So hopefully that was, how do you feel about that? Uplifting, edifying. We're the church.
That was aggressive.
That was aggressive. Yeah, there's a lot going on there that's wrong with the way that they did that. And also, just the lady who was taking the video, she watches it and she's like, oh! And then just that sigh of disappointment, like, now we gotta clean it. Like,
How is that different from the tin one? I'm still stuck on the grain bins. Like, how is that different? Like, there's red ones too. Like, it's just the big
But
cylinder.
like the circular part.
The red ones are in like the Playmobil Play School play sets. Those are red.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's plastic. And it's
Yeah.
not a real silo.
it's plastic, metal, concrete, all the silos.
You know, Sam, and I'm not sure which Samuel, I'm going to assume it's Sam Kinney, is very proud of me for knowing all of this information about silos. Aren't you proud too?
Because that would get you absolutely nothing in ministry.
Lots of cool points. I'm cool now, right?
Okay.
You
The
could
students
paint
can-
the silo red, though, couldn't you?
You can.
Yeah, the sigh at the end. All right, hey, so
It could be red.
we're gonna play a game now because we're just wasting time left and right. This game is called Gradients. And Hannah, what did you tell me about gradients today?
I like to paint them. Like,
Yeah, you love
the
gradients.
Like,
Well,
like
yeah, like look at this.
the
Look
fade,
at
the fading. I
yeah.
love the fading.
So like that gradient from
I
like
have them here. I'm not sure.
You like the
yeah.
blending?
So each slide up there, you have
blend.
to trigger its visibility. Starting with the top one, that little eyeball that's crossed out, and it should show up. So yeah, so we got these slides here. They're this is called gradients, and we're deciding. You have to make a choice and tell us why. So you have to choose a letter and a number. Okay? So maybe it's a number and a letter. Yeah. So are we ready, Eric?
Already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
This game
I'm
is
not ready.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh.
A number and a letter, and then defend your poor choice. So I'm gonna
Oh, like
go.
what stuff goes? What stuff blends?
Oh
well
yeah. I got
together.
mine.
You got Prego on here?
Oh,
Well, you're wrong. Okay.
Okay, wait, I have to choose.
Okay, are we ready? 3, 2,
I-
1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Hannah, what's yours?
F3.
F3? What are you, 5 years old? Butter on spaghetti?
Don't hate on her.
Oh.
That was my second choice.
Oh.
Wait, what's yours, Caycie?
Oh.
I haven't said mine yet, but
Butter?
that was my second
Okay,
choice.
here's my
Tell
thing.
us why.
So
You just eat the stick of butter?
no, you
you
melt
melt
it. It's like making mac and cheese,
No.
but if you don't have the cheese, you can just go.
Mac and
You can
butter?
put spices
Said
in
nobody
it.
ever.
You can.
I don't
It's
know.
like okay. Also, those pasta those like sauce choices. I don't know what sauce we buy. I don't think it's any of those red sauces. I don't like pesto, and garlicky cheesy sauce makes me gag. So
I'm glad that you have reasons, even if they're all
Garlicky
bad, so,
cheesy
okay.
sauce makes you gag?
Because
You
people
poor
put
thing.
so much garlic in it, and I'm like, I get sick to my stomach.
Are you a
It's not
vampire?
good.
You
Yes.
think they are
Literally.
Oh, argue with this.
It's so
Hannah, we want you to
sad.
know that there's help. If you're feeling like you're a vampire,
I love
there is
garlic
help.
and cheese.
Wow.
You just need to reach out. The first step is admitting you have a problem. All right, Caycie, let's see how wrong you are.
Mine would be E3.
E3.
I
now that was a
love
close second.
fettuccine Alfredo.
That was a close second for me.
Yeah, I love
But
fettuccine
like
Alfredo.
pesto is where it's at. So
Right.
D5. It's D5.
Oh, yeah.
Pesto
I
can get to
agree.
be overpowering. Like it's too
It
much.
can't, like, you
Pesto-
gotta
Like
do
it's-
just a little bit.
Like it's good a little bit,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you're like, I can't.
It's
Yeah.
me with the garlic.
Yeah.
But
5D.
garlic's good.
No.
Olivia says 5D,
Yeah.
and she is right. Olivia, way to go. All right. That's
Your
why
wife
she's
doesn't like
that's,
Prego?
that's why she's a student leader.
Prego's
so.
awful.
I don't
Jamie
know
doesn't
what we
like Prego
buy.
because Jamie's right.
I don't know what we buy, so
I don't
can't
enjoy
pick.
Prego.
Prego
She
is
just-
cheap.
She likes it, but she doesn't. Okay. Anyways, next up, we got like 6 of these. All right. A letter
Are these many?
and a number.
Are we going off of like, what are we going off of?
Pick two to be in a movie.
You just gotta pick two. This is like yes, no, not to be in a movie.
No,
just
but like-
yes, no. Like, this is the same idea. So pick
So
two.
confused.
Don't get it. I got mine. I'm ready.
Wait, I'm not ready.
I'm ready.
Is that MySpace Tom?
Yes, it is.
I love that.
Somebody
Oh.
please. Somebody please.
Okay,
get my
I
face
have.
All right, Hannah went first last time. You get to go first.
Oh my gosh, the second row was just really, really hard for me, and I
Yeah.
don't know why.
You do.
All right.
Okay, I
Caycie,
got it.
go.
I got it. Okay, so mine would be. Wow, it's like an adventures theme. Mine would be 3 and then A. 3 because I saw a meme once about Tom Holland where it said that he looks like he always has like frogs in his mouth or something like that.
He does
And
like
he's
get the Kermit
always
the Frog
trying
smile.
to keep them in.
Like
and
he's like
I've
grimacing instead of smiling.
British.
never been able
He's
to get that out of
British,
my
that's it.
mind.
British
And
people,
then-
British people smile weird.
A is because I think
Like a midget.
Chris Hemsworth is like Australian, isn't he?
And that just is.
And I like
Okay.
the accents very well.
Okay.
So
Hannah.
Either C1 or C3
C1. Okay.
or C3.
Or C3.
Just because like
Reasoning?
Tom Hanks, I love A League of Their Own,
Mhm.
and he's so funny in that movie.
That's very
He's
good.
so funny.
Yeah.
Or
Excellent taste.
Or I would also go 3 just because I'm pretty, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure he was the voice of the younger brother in Onward, and I love that movie. He
That was Tom
he
Holland.
was that, yeah, that's 3.
That is Tom
that
Holland,
was-
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I got it right.
Okay.
You've been served.
And then C, Chris Evans is just so smiley.
Especially.
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
pick. I'm gonna tell you my choices, and it's because I only know the names of 2 people on this list. So I'm choosing B1 because Tom Hanks is America's dad, maybe kind of becoming America's grandpa, and Chris Pratt is like America's favorite younger brother, and so
Chris
you know,
Pratt.
good guys.
Chris Pratt was also in Onward. He
And
was
now
the,
I know it's-
he
I
was the
forgot- I
voice
didn't
of the
pick
older
out that
brother.
Tom.
No, that was Hemsworth.
No. No,
Pretty
it
sure
was
Hemsworth.
definitely Chris Pratt.
All right, next one.
Oh, I got opinions.
Caycie,
You always have.
wait, you
Wait,
have
what's the
opinions?
bottom row?
This is like the perfect game for me.
Bottom row is coffee, child.
Sorry.
Wait,
but
yeah,
Yeah,
don't,
the
you
bottom row
better
is
be careful
coffee.
here. Don't misrepresent your
Is
family.
egg just milk?
Probably. Should.
Okay, Walter, you go first since we
I'll
went
go first. All right, 4, because toast should actually be toasted, not like
Yes.
just
Yes.
put in the toaster. But like when you have to
That's
scrape the char off with a knife, that's too far. So 4 is like perfect, like golden, brown, but now like burnt. And then
Okay.
F all the way. It's easy. Like you don't want.
I mean, you're
You know,
entitled to your
adultery.
own opinion. This is okay.
Okay, Hannah, why don't you tell us how wrong you are then?
A3 all the way, because 3 you got that. It's not cold, and it's not like just mildly warmed, and you do get that crunch still, but you don't have to like even consider scraping anything. And I don't drink coffee.
Wait,
so-
what did you said? A3?
A3. I don't drink
Man.
coffee, and then the 3, you still get that nice crunch, but you're
Do you
not.
think it's crunchy though? Like it's almost like still like
It's like
soft.
the movement hasn't been like totally like.
No, but look at
The
4.
cream's
It's
already
almost
done.
burnt.
It's baked.
It's
4 is
almost
great. I don't know.
burnt.
Like your toast should not be soft. So you're right. The crunch is right. I just think you're misidentifying the colors here a little bit. So
All right, you ready for the truth?
Although that's a bad toaster.
Here
That's
we
the
go.
truth according to Caycie. This
It's
feels like a very postmodern. thing.
2C.
You should write a book.
Because the 2,
What?
like, yes,
What?
no, listen. I don't like toast to be like super crunchy. I don't want to have to work to eat it.
This
And
opinion is
I want it
physically
to
causing me
think
pain.
about being toast without actually being toast.
How do you
like
get
I
the butter
want
to spread on it then?
How does
you
it not
just
like,
spread it with a
It's
knife.
like a sponge. at
It's
that point.
warm. No, it's warm and it's soft and it's melty and it's delicious.
Okay,
Sips
so
and
you're wrong on the toast. And then what was the coffee one?
C, because
Because
I
your family is
Like,
a big B.
I
so.
like creamer. I don't just like to drink hot bean water, just plain. Like I'm good. Like
here's the thing.
I love myself.
Central.
Yeah.
Like,
They're not actually beans, though. They're seeds.
they're not. Why are they called coffee beans?
Because it's colloquialism.
It's a bean shape.
It's what?
Whatever. Colloquialism. Whatever.
It's
Stop.
bean.
All right. Yeah, words are not my strong point. I don't know why I'm up here. You guys gotta
English
listen
class over
to
there,
me.
Walter?
Sorry. All right. Hot bean water goes. All right. So
Silos and colloquialisms.
colloquial
Number 4 now.
words come out of my mouth. All right. Get this read. All right. How many more do we have? We gotta make this a bag.
So this is the 4th and 6th.
All right. We're gonna power through this one because nobody cares.
I've recently decided to go vegetarian.
I'm gonna go 2 and no.
No, 4.
Careful.
What's number
careful
B?
choices.
What does that say?
It's
That's honey roasted
Chick-fil-A
barbecue.
roasted barbecue. I
Honey,
could-
honey mustard.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 2C. 2C.
Okay.
But you like
so
Hidden
You
Valley.
got one.
It's just
right.
ranch. It's not a brand. It's not about the brand. Also, Hidden
It
Valley
is about the
It is-
brand.
has
it
like a
is-
little bit
it
more.
is
that-
about the
it's
Is
brand.
that like
ranch
pickle
snob,
flavor? What's your
sorry.
favorite ranch?
Restaurant ranch.
Definitely.
Yes!
at like DeLuca's
DeLuca's,
or
yes.
Leo's.
All right,
Leo's has some good
that
ranch.
has nothing to do with this.
Sorry,
game. So
sorry.
Your,
Okay, so
yeah.
either 4C or 1C.
4C.
Sorry, 4. I'm picking
I
up my
get it.
breading
So there's
of the
like-
chicken, and 4's got like the kind that I like.
And there's no bones.
And there's no bones. I can't do
Jamie's an
bones.
anti-bone.
Do you think it's
I don't like bone and
the
chicken
breading
either.
that you like?
Yeah. Remember this-
Okay, careful.
Remember the CIY when Ezra was all about like boneless,
Boneless chicken,
wings and
Boneless
like
ping pong.
boneless watermelon? This is really strange. I don't know what's wrong with that kid. All right, and what'd you say?
1D. I love
One?
buffalo sauce.
Oh, buffalo sauce is not good.
I love buffalo sauce so much. Too much.
All right, next up.
Too much.
Right. This is how much peanut butter and how much jelly you like on your sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I got that. Oh.
Wait, crunchy or creamy?
It doesn't
Neither.
matter.
Are those,
Well, it does matter.
All right, this is
and
it.
then are those the only two things on it? Because I like a peanut butter jelly with butter.
And the room was silent in shock. Like, what?
Okay.
Okay.
He should get an opinion though, because he
Yeah.
does peanut butter and dill pickle
He's
sandwiches.
Not
and
even in the
it's-
room right now. He's not
That's
here.
not bad.
All right, so I'm gonna go with E. The bottom row is peanut butter. The top row is jelly, obviously.
Yeah.
So E4, because like you can have way too much jelly and it overpower, and then when it comes out the edges and gets you all sticky. Also, I don't really like peanut butter and jelly. I'm just saying. Okay. All right, Caycie. Why don't you tell us what you think? It seems like you disagree.
Honestly, like go big or go home. I'm like in between E and F and then 5 and 6. Like it has to be even. Like if I like have my sandwich and it's not coming out of this like sides like dripping everywhere, like I just feel like
Hey, Olivia, what are you talking about?
she
No,
just likes
I
jelly
agree with
toast.
Kevin
Liv.
is 4D.
It's 5A.
See,
because
but here's
I
the
don't like
thing.
peanut butter.
Like
You
if
don't
you
like
have kids are always doing 6F, and then you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, the kids made themselves breakfast, and then you step 1 foot in the kitchen, and you're like, oh, I'm sticking to the floor, and then you're like, wow, I can't get my foot up, and you put your hand down on the counter, and you're like, and everything you touch, and it's like smeared on the
Kids are
cabinet.
sticky.
What
Yeah.
kind
True
of food are
statement.
you buying that you can't walk through it?
It would probably be EF though. That's more
We have a
like
white floor, and the kids make it like pink.
Did you say EF?
E5. Sorry.
Oh.
E5.
It's
My
definitely
That's respectable. I think
It's definitely
E4.
4 or 5A
There's
because
E3.
peanut butter is gross.
Like, you gotta have more peanut butter than jelly.
No, I
can't-
agree with you.
I think you need to have equal amounts.
Yeah.
You just don't do peanut
All right,
butter.
is this the last one? Give me the
No,
last
one more.
Oh, one more. Okay. This is the last one.
Yep, this is the last one.
Oh yeah. This is good.
I own about half
who,
of those shoes.
who would wear Crocs anyway? That's dumb. Wow. Can I?
Aggressive. Oh, I can't.
All of the options.
So, what are D? Are those hiking boots?
Yeah, those
They're
are
like-
hiking boots. And
Yeah.
then F is bean boots. I have that exact pair.
Like
E
rain
is rain
or
boots.
Cowboy
Duck
boots
boots. Bean
for
boots.
Mr. Silo. Cowboy
Duck
boots.
boots.
They do look like. Yeah, he's definitely cowboy boots. Okay. All right. What do you think? Hannah? 6 is snow, right? Or
Yeah,
This is,
yeah.
okay.
Well, 6
Or-
is hipster snow.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry.
Either 1A or 4 or 6E.
4 or 6E.
Yeah.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
like both
that's respectable.
equally. I can't pick.
Yeah, I get that. Nice.
Like, is this the shoes to wear with the weather or just cute
You
shoes?
just,
in
no,
the-
you gotta choose.
But there's just like
You
so
gotta
many
ch-
different.
you have to-
So like I really like
Definitely
5 and I really like 3.
Yeah, no. Think about your animals at home. You only have one favorite animal, and so you only take
That doesn't look like
I
that.
don't have one favorite animal.
one
That's my
favorite of each.
I like 5 because I like thunderstorms, and then I
Yeah.
like A because I like sandals.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. If those are sandals.
But I wouldn't wear them in a
What
thunderstorm.
are the camp sandals that everybody? freaks out?
Chacos.
Chacos.
I love
I
chacos.
want a pair of chocolates.
They're
Everybody uses,
too
a camp
expensive
bag,
for
or
me,
something.
though.
Nah.
But they last so long.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. So I really love 5, but I would much rather have I love 6 even more. So 6, and I'm gonna go with like a D, even though I wear A more. So I'm gonna go 6D, cause yeah, like hiking through some snow up the mountains, or like getting out your
I like
snowblower.
snow. I just like
Snowblower.
the nasty weather when I can be inside.
I would go if
Alright.
they had a blanket up there. I would
Barefoot.
go 6 and then the blanket.
Jamie's protecting you right now. She's afraid that we're not being an emotionally safe place for you.
Thank you. Which camera is on right now? Which one? I can't see.
That one right there.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. Send help.
All right, cool. Hey, so it was interesting to see how wrong most of you are, and
my
to enjoy
goodness.
that. But okay, we're going to be starting a new series tonight, and we are talking about a time when Jesus was out, and I think he was by the Sea of Galilee, and he did this amazing miracle. One of the things about Jesus is the people who followed him, like the 12 disciples, a lot of them were fishermen, and Jesus spent a lot of time like teaching and spending time on the Sea of Galilee, and so he used some like fishing imagery in his teaching. Sometimes that's kind of lost on us. So as we transition into our lesson tonight, we're going to get a little context about what it means to be fishers of men. And so that's this video right here, and then we'll head on into our lesson. So context with Carl, fishers of men.
Hi there, little chicken nuggets. It's me, Carl. Howdy do. So this morning, I was reading the Bible. Came across a scripture that threw me for a loop. I had no idea what it was talking about. So I did what every other American Christian does, and immediately stopped reading, took a picture for my Insta to show others what a great Christian I am, and drove out to this here lake. Now, the scripture I was referring to, when Jesus called out to these guys on the boat and said, "Come follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men." Now,
Let's.
Now you're back.
We're back now. Okay.
Right now.
Big glitch. All right, I don't know. So we're like legitimately back now, and we're jumping into this new series. We're gonna watch that video from Carl next week because it's a funny one. Our new series is all about the difference that you can make as a follower of Jesus when you allow God to work through you. So let's watch this video and then dive into our lesson tonight. Hey, so glad you're joining us for our discussion about the difference that you can make as a follower of Jesus. So hey, I want to ask you who is your most, the person who like brings you the most joy or is the most fun, family member or friend, and yeah, what makes them so great to be around? It could be a friend, it could be a family member. And if you don't feel comfortable naming them because you're going to leave people out, I get that.
No, I'll name them. Because I think Audrey would agree with me. Where am I? Hello. I think Audrey might be watching this. I'm sorry, Audrey, I love you.
Calling out Audrey.
But you're not it. She would agree. It would be our cousin Caden. And he is just like I just remember one time we went to the movies when we were camping once because it was raining, and he acted like a raptor in the high bushes, like a full raptor, like with the screeches and everything. And he went across the parking lot, like hopping on people's cars, acting like a raptor. And then he went in those bushes, and then he started shaking them, and we're in the middle of the parking lot, dying laughing. And there's this family that comes out, and he's just like screeching and shaking the bushes. And so he's just always I don't know, he's just always doing weird, goofy things.
Like bringing some life to the party.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, nice.
Mine is probably Adrienne, just because she does things kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's less a raptor and more like a creature of unknown existence.
A creature of unknown existence.
So
okay.
yeah, she's always bringing some smiles and strangeness, but yeah.
Yeah. Nice. It's funny when I think about my life throughout school and college and beyond. Like I had different groups of friends, but there was always somebody who everybody wanted to be around, and especially when I think about college, there were a few times when our friend group was so not necessarily dominated, but my buddy Jeff, or there was a girl named Megan who lots of people flocked to these two people, and they would talk like them, they would have the same mannerisms, they would act like them just because they were something about them was really magnetic, and I just remember, especially at Great Lakes, lots of time where we would hang out as friend groups, and one or two people were the life of the party. So we all know people who are so fun to be around that everybody wants to hang out with them. People who are so nice that they make you a nicer person. People who work so hard that their teammates at work harder, or their teammates on their sports team do a better job. And then we also know people who are the complete opposite of that, right? People who are so mean that they just kind of drive people apart, and other people always feel on edge around them. People who are ticked off and they bring down the mood, or Caycie, so loud that people have to literally shout over them. Caycie, can you give us an example of your mom voice? Because it's impressive. It is really cool.
I can't, like,
You got to be in the moment.
yeah, like, I have to be, like, a little bit angry. And I feel like
Yeah.
this would just, like, in this room, it would just come back at me. And I have to do it when there's not any repercussions on me. Like,
Yeah.
I have to, like, hurt others, not me. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
With
yeah.
my, like,
Well, I'm
screeching.
glad that you're not angry at me right
It's
now.
just, I just can't, like, my voice is just very loud. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No. It's a gift. I wish that I had a loud voice because I lose my voice at student ministry events like
Ooh.
CIY.
I
often.
wish I could lose my
Yeah.
I
voice.
don't know how that happens to people.
It does happen to me. I don't drink enough water, and then I try to be really loud so students pay attention. But anyways, so we know people who are super loud. My youngest daughter is by far the loudest member of our household. And in the mornings, if she wakes up before us, it's just a constant stream of words. You kind of hear Simeon and Adelaide sometimes chipping in, but they're real quiet and subdued. And it's just talking real loud, and I'm singing and I'm talking and I'm not stopping. Yeah. So, anyways, whether it's a good thing, which I love Genesis, she's fantastic, and I love your mom voice, and I love people who bring us together, or it's not. What's true about nearly everyone is this: we are unaware of how much of an impact we have on other people, and I think that just happens over and over and over again. That people are unaware of the impact that they're having on other people. I didn't have this in the questions I sent you guys, but can you think of somebody who had a huge impact upon you over the last 23, 16 years, and they might not necessarily have known it? Or that
Oh, they might not have known.
either
it.
they didn't know it, or it wasn't like something they were necessarily trying to do. They just had a huge impact on you.
I don't know. As soon as you said it, the only person I could really think of was like my small group leader when I was in high
Oh
school.
yeah, who was that?
Her name is Allison Parrish.
Nice.
And so
Yeah.
I had the same small group leader all throughout high school, which was a huge blessing.
Yeah.
But she like really like influenced me, and like we really, I really just like appreciated everything she said and just how she acted towards me, and just like, and honestly, I say that because like that's kind of how like I model myself here too, is like how opening and accepting like she was. Like I try to be that way as well, and like that's how like I kind of like I think about my small group time and how
Yeah.
she acted, and then that's how like I would act like in small groups.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I love like you being a small group leader is fantastic, because there are times when ticked off at students where Caycie's like totally you've got their back, right?
Yeah,
And you were always
my
looking out for your
babies.
girls. Yeah, it's great. Good job. Hannah?
Gee, I don't know, cause like mine is kind of the same. Like my flood small group leader, Heather. I mean, she kind of knew, but she also didn't. But like, it's kind of the same thing. Like super open,
Yeah.
and willing to talk about things, but also she knew how to like. She knew when some of us girls were getting a little like tense about a situation, and so she'd lighten the mood with something strange or weird, and
Yeah.
like we'd be a little bit more relaxed then. So
Mm-hmm.
stuff kind of like that.
Yeah, I had a few professors, especially in grad school, who I don't necessarily know. In fact, I know one of them really didn't know at all. Was my Old Testament professor in grad school, and I think I did a practicum or something. Anyways, I met with him once a week for like a semester, and then we kind of lost touch for a while. But yeah, he had just a lot of wisdom when I was starting out in ministry and when I was trying to find my way as a student. Really, it was a fantastic relationship. And the reason I know that he didn't really realize how much of an impact he had was because I remember at graduation, I'm walking up to the front and I'm right behind some other student, and I see him and I'm like smiling at him and looking at him, and it looks like he's smiling at me and looking at me, and I realize he's smiling and looking at the guy in front of me, and he didn't even notice me. Oh, knife to the heart. But it was all right. So he's a great guy. So tell me this: how would you rate yourself as an influencer or as a background person? What would you say?
I mean, I'm not particularly sure, but like I'm definitely not a background person.
Yeah.
I'm not. So like I would probably be heavier on the influencer. Notice that sometimes some of the things that I say, other people will say. Like I've been saying sick a lot, and I've been saying dope, and like that's not something that the kids have been
It's something
saying
the kids used to
lately.
say.
But I just like, I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I think like I'm more on the other side of things of the influencer.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm an influencer of the background people.
Okay.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't
like
feel like I'm like
subversive.
I don't feel like I'm like a super like heavy out there person,
Mhm.
but like for the people who aren't super out there, I'm like an influencer of those.
Yeah.
Like we're like the influencer of the like waffle.
You're like in the
population.
background influencing.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think there are definitely different levels. Like they're the like look at me people, and then they're like the more, you know,
I
in the
guess if you
background
want
or
to look at
making
me,
a
you
difference.
can, but I'm
Yeah.
not pushing for it.
Yeah. Nice. So our series over the next 3 weeks is talking about the you effect, and it's this idea that you're always having an effect on other people in the situations that you're experiencing together. Like in the people around you, you are having this influence on others. And for some of us, the influence is real obvious, right? You know, so you're saying sick, and suddenly all the modified staffers like Lundy are saying sick. I don't know.
Lundy does copy me.
He does. Lundy does copy you. He wants to be like you.
Lundy wants to be like me.
And for others of us, we might feel like we don't influence anybody at all. And no matter which way you feel, like whether you're a background person, I was always kind of a background person, especially in my youth group, or an influencer. The thing is, it's perfectly normal to feel like somewhere on this spectrum. But what we want you to know ultimately through this series is that your ability to make a difference in other people's lives doesn't necessarily come down to where you place yourself on the spectrum of the influencer, because God can use anyone. And so it's more about letting God use you than about what you bring to the table all the time. And there's certainly like God using your gifts to influence others, but it's like, God, here I am, use me, and then God works through you. So have you guys ever heard the story of the feeding of the 5,000? We're going to be in John chapter 6 today, so if you want to turn there in your Bibles, your modified Bibles, it's on page 1114. Tell me what you guys know about the feeding of the 5,000 story.
The small child.
The small child? Okay, what's up with a small child?
He's got like the fish and
Okay.
the bread.
Yeah. And there's
I don't remember
how many,
each.
right? Because there's like the feeding of the 4,000, and there's feeding of the
there's
5,000,
like,
and there's like
7,000.
Jesus does like miracles.
All the numbers.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So there's this kid, he's got some fish and some bread. Yeah, what do you remember?
And then, so like then Jesus like takes like the little bit that he does have and then just keeps like feeding and feeding. Like he doesn't just like abracadabra and like all of a sudden there's like so many.
Boom.
Yeah, and he just like keeps like feeding people and then everybody eats, but everybody eats like fully. Like it's not
Yeah,
just like everybody
yeah.
gets a bite,
Yeah.
but like everybody's like
Everybody's
eats
satisfied.
to their
Yeah.
yeah.
Isn't it in like one of them they have like 12 baskets of stuff left over?
Yeah, they
Or
have
something
like
like that.
a bunch of leftovers, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't like leftovers, but yeah, they have a bunch of leftovers. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I
Well,
was
just think
like,
about fish that's sitting out in the hot sun
Yeah.
in the refrigeration.
like you
Delicious.
better put those boys in salt real fast.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
maybe it was already salted.
maybe it was, yeah, who knows? So Jesus is out and he's teaching, and there's this huge, thousands of people show up, and they're there so long that they're starting to get hungry, and they've missed a meal, and Jesus looks at his disciples and says, there's all these hungry people, what are we going to do with them? And his disciples look at him and they're like, what are we going to do with them, Jesus? And Jesus says, why don't you figure it out? And
They're
so
like, no, you.
let me read you this story from John chapter 6. And I'm starting in verse 1 on page 1114. After this, Jesus crossed to the far side of the Sea of Galilee, also known as the Sea of Tiberias. A huge crowd kept following him wherever he went because they saw his miraculous signs as he healed the sick. Then Jesus climbed this hill and he sat down with his disciples around him. It was nearly time for the Jewish Passover celebration. Jesus soon saw a huge crowd of people coming to look for him. Turning to Philip, he said, "Where can we buy bread to feed all these people?" He was testing Philip, for he already knew what he was going to do. And then in verse 7, Philip replied, "Even if we worked for months, we wouldn't have enough money to feed them." So the disciples are kind of freaking out. Like, Jesus, why are you asking us how we're going to feed these people? Where can we buy bread? With what money? You know, this is kind of a crisis. What's going on? And obviously, in verse 7, the disciples are feeling a little helpless, right? And so then this is what happened. Then verse 8, then Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. "There's a young boy here with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what good is that with this huge crowd? So think about like, yeah, just a couple loaves. Like you brought a sack lunch. Have you ever, like your school lunch, right? You take your little Star Wars lunch pail, and you put your school lunch in there. You take it to school, and then somebody says, "We're gonna feed the whole cafeteria with what you brought."
Good luck.
Good luck, right? Like, how's that? What is
I
this?
never
for us?
brought lunch.
You
so
never brought a lunch?
No, we always had like hot lunch.
I was thinking the cooler that I would take when I would go out to work in the fields. Like my parents would pack me a sandwich and like an apple and some water, and I'd go out and go drive tractor or work in the gravel pit. Nobody is sharing these experiences with me. I think I'm the only one. Anyways, I'm thinking about my little lunch that I take with me in my what were the igloo cooler? It was like one of those lunch pail igloo
It's a
coolers.
lunch box.
Oh,
Yeah.
like the small, like the white and red.
Yeah,
handle
yeah,
ones.
white and red or
Oh,
like
that's
white.
old
Yeah.
school. Like
Yeah.
50 years ago.
Just like the silent, right?
Just like
I'm
the silence.
speechless. Okay. I try to be vulnerable with you guys. I try to open up and let you know who I am and all that I
Something,
get.
we're open.
All right, so continuing on. Then Philip replied in verse 7 again, "Even if we worked for months, we wouldn't have enough money to feed them." Then Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. "There's a young boy here with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what good is that with this huge crowd?" Jesus said, "Tell everyone to sit down." So they all sat down on the grassy slopes. The men alone numbered 5,000, which then you can extrapolate out. There were probably women there and kids. So this was a huge crowd. Verse 11, then Jesus took the loaves and he gave thanks to God and he distributed them to the people. Afterward, he did the same with the fish. They all ate as much as they wanted. After everyone was full, Jesus told his disciples, "Now gather the leftovers so that nothing is wasted." So they picked up the pieces and filled 12 baskets with scraps left by the people who had eaten the 5 barley loaves. So, who do you think had the biggest impact in this passage?
I mean, you could obviously say Jesus
Okay,
because he
we
did
can play
the
the Sunday
thing.
school
You know what I
answer.
mean? Yeah. Like, he did the thing.
I mean,
Like,
he did.
He
Yeah,
did
yeah,
do the thing.
For sure. Yeah, okay, so
Food.
aside from Jesus, the obvious answer, like guaranteed A on the test.
Yeah.
Who else do you think had a big big impact, biggest influence in this
The
passage?
little kid who spoke up, like,
Okay.
he kind of was like, I don't know what
He
to
actually
do,
had
but
food.
He was like, I guess I don't need this here. You guys can try and do something with it. I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
Like
He was
a little-
willing, right?
Like the kid and the you wit in the wit you what you and like that's what I think of the little kid.
The what?
the
The
little
boss is
kid.
Caycie.
Sorry, it's the little kid. He's trying to say that you can follow your dreams, but he's like stumbling over his words. Have you never seen that?
Is this a movie?
No.
I've probably
Oh,
seen
wow.
all the vines out there, but I've not. This isn't a vine.
This
It
is a-
can't be.
This is a TikTok. We're too old
It's
for
a
TikTok.
vine. It's a vine. He's like, and you in the wit, and you in the wit, and you can, and he's just like stumbling,
Yeah.
and like that's like probably how old this kid was, and like he comes forward and he's like, I have fish and bread,
And you can
and
have
he's
it.
like, and you can have it, and then it like feeds all these people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I lost you.
No, but I think you're on the right track because I think it is all about this kid's willingness. Like taking away the Jesus factor. Initially, it comes out of this kid who said, "Here am I, God, use me," right? And one of the difficulties with this series, Eric and I were chatting about it today, is that this idea of like the you factor can really come across as like a self-help series. But as a church, like self-help stuff, there are whole aisles of this stuff in stores and Barnes & Noble, like these self-help sections. We believe as a church that humans are fundamentally flawed, right? That sin is in our lives and that God, He created all things perfect, but sin entered the world and we're broken now. And so no matter how much we try to help ourselves, like we're never going to get it quite right and it's not going to be perfect. And so the difficulty with this series, this You Factor series, is that, like it takes a lot of you stepping up. But ultimately, as we can see from this story, from the feeding of the 5,000, like you step up and then God, he
Delivers.
causes the growth. Yeah, he delivers, right?
He feeds.
He feeds.
He feeds.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This kid didn't have a whole lot, but he gave what he had, and that was enough for Jesus. And then Jesus took it the rest of the way. So I guess a thought, maybe a wrap-up question for you is this: have you ever felt God asking you to step up in some way, like to step up in faith, to like to offer yourself or offer something that you have? Have you ever felt like the call to step up to something bigger because you knew that God wanted to be bigger?
Do you want to?
I mean,
You wanna
okay,
go?
so my mind kind of instantly goes to like Kid City when I first
Yeah.
started helping, and I was like, I think I want to try to I was like maybe thinking about doing a classroom, and I was like, I would be helping lead small children and helping them learn. Oh gosh, I'd be having such a big influence, and it was a little scary.
Yeah.
It was a different idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I started working with like Heather in the kindergarten first grade class, and
Yeah.
there's something else. Let me tell ya.
Yeah. Were any of my kids in that class at that time?
Not at that time.
Yeah.
I don't. I've had Simeon. I
Nice.
think. I might have had Adelaide. I don't know.
Yeah.
She might have been second grade.
So,
when I
so
started.
when you chose to step up and help Heather in that class, how'd it go?
It was a little bit strange at first. I was kind of more there to like crowd control help and like make sure that they weren't breaking anything.
Which
or
is super
themselves.
important. Like that's a big deal too.
And it's depending on what class you get, it's like it can be either really hard or really boring because they're like just sitting there
Yeah.
in some cases, or they're running around screaming in other cases. Like you're suddenly the adulty adult, not the adulty adult in the room, but you're one of the
Yeah.
adults in the room, and it's like, I need an adult. Oh no, I am the adult.
So tell me this: how have you seen God work through your efforts in that room? Because you don't know what you're doing all the time, right?
Right. It's
Yeah.
kind of spooky, but Heather had to stop helping because she was having a child of her own, and so it became me and Emma Hokanson. We were the two leaders of the class, and like it was weird to be like, I'm now Heather in this situation. I'm
Yeah.
now
You're now the leader.
in charge.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool because like some of the Sundays that I don't work in the class, some of the girls in my class, or even some of the boys, they would come running up to me and they'd be like, "Hi," and I'd be like, "You're one of my students. Hi.
Yeah.
How do you recognize me? I'm only in your class like once a month." And it's cool to see them like get super excited about getting to do
Yeah.
our fun little things in class.
And from a parent's perspective, I'm always amazed because I struggle. I think Jamie and I struggle in different ways to help like disciple our kids. And there are times when I'm talking to my kids and I am amazed by the amount of Bible knowledge that they've picked up because of small group leaders like you guys in Kid City. Like my kids are really knowing the Bible stories really, really well. And I think a lot of that has to do with like, people like you working in their classrooms. So thanks for doing that.
Okay.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
said, "You're welcome. Accept the compliment."
Caycie, what about you?
Yeah, I've seen it kind of similar with Hannah too, where like straight out of high school, I started working in the flood as a small group leader. Like there was an open hole. Like Meredith Hobbs was like, "You're gonna replace me." Like I think she said that to me at a lock-in once in high school. She was like, "I'm leaving and you're gonna replace me," and I said, "Honey, like I don't know if I want to work with middle schoolers." And she's like, "No, you're gonna do it." And so I did it, but and then it just kind of led to like high school too. I'm obviously here, like I'm modified. And so just like being able to do that and stepping up when it was needed, and then having somebody like see that in me when I was younger too, to like then like kind of like build in me to then get to that spot. Because I also like, it doesn't have to be like this big thing where people think that like student ministry is like you're like preaching like every like Monday. Like I've only done that for student leadership when I was in high school once, and I'm just not, you put me in a crowd of people and I'm like,
Yeah.
like I say a lot and I can't do it, but like in
Yeah.
a small group setting, like I'm perfectly fine like talking way too much. So
Yeah,
you know,
and I think the relational capital that you hold with some of our students is unmatched by any of the other adults at some points. Like I just feel like God uses the relationships that you build with our students to really make a difference. So yeah, I see God working through you all the time, and I'm very appreciative. Now you need to tell Sophie and Luke that they're next for the flood.
I mean, Sophie and I already had a conversation after CIY. She came up to me and she was like, "I'm probably gonna come back in a year," and I was like, "Dope."
Yeah,
Not
I love that. Yeah. And
sick.
what's real fun right now for me is seeing our student ministry it always takes a few years to catch up when a new student minister comes to a place, and so there's this lag time. But now, like, we're starting to stack up our people who
Now that
graduated.
I'm out of high school.
No, I'm just saying, like, we're starting to stack up our people who've graduated out of Modified,
Yeah.
who are qualified and committed to Jesus, and who are thinking about coming back and serving. In the next few years of volunteers, we're gonna have a sweet crew. I'm really excited about it. So that'll be fun. Ezra Hokanson, I'm looking at you, man. Hokanson takes me. I'm relearning how to say.
Yeah,
that.
where is Ezra? What is he doing? Come back. Which camera?
He's a leader at Thrive, but he's also.
That camera? Ezra.
Ezra.
What are you
he's
doing?
Not watching. Right
He's
now.
not watching.
Maybe
Are
his sisters
any of
are,
the
though.
Algonsons watching?
Sometimes they tune in. I don't know.
Emma,
It could be.
Anna,
It's a
hello.
possibility.
Bueller.
All right. Yeah. So hey, we're encouraging you guys, just like Hannah, just like Caycie, just like our other adults who've chosen to follow Jesus and step out in faith. We're encouraging you this summer to look for ways to invite God to use you, and so looking for ways to influence others, and that just starts in praying and asking God, looking around, who is it that you want to use me to influence? Whether that's somebody in my friend group, whether that's somebody at my work, whether that's somebody in my family, who is it that you want to use me to influence? And then identify the need, like what is it, God, that you want me to do? And spending some time in prayer, journaling is a good way to like process some of this and to let God to work through you. Yeah, get a journal. Journals are great. And then once you have identified the who and the what, then step out and do it. Step out, step up. And just like this kid, again, this story really isn't about what this kid did. But this kid was willing, right? The story is that Jesus performed this amazing miracle, and in John, it's one of the signs that display that he is the Messiah, like he is the Son of God. But this kid was willing and got to be part of that story. And so that's really what God is inviting all of us and all of you to do and to be part of, is to be part of his story, which is a story that stretches through all of human history and into the future. And it's a super cool possibility, super cool invitation, a chance that you get. So, hey, we're coming off of CIY. We're just asking you to think about what would it look like this week, this month, if instead of crashing after CIY, which is common, happens to me too, happens to our adults.
I love my naps.
We love our naps. Instead of doing that, you let God use you. So our big idea tonight is just that you can have more of an effect than you can think, just because God can work through you. So let me pray for us, and then we have a couple last things, and we will go to small groups. So let's pray. Jesus, we're so thankful for your words recorded in the Gospel of John. We're thankful for the witness of your disciples and the people who chose to just tell us about your ministry here on earth. God, we're thankful that you performed this incredible miracle that displayed that you were indeed the Son of God, and that you got to use some humans and invite them along. And so, Father, I pray for each of our students this summer as we're heading into a couple months of a break before school, that you would impress upon our hearts somebody that needs our help, that we would be willing to step out in faith and to help them, and that you would lead us, and that God, as we show up and are willing, that you would do more than we are expecting and more than we can do on our own, to continue to connect people to your kingdom and to glorify yourself through us. And so, God, I pray that you bless our small group conversations, continue to bless your Modified, and I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, any final closing thoughts, words of wisdom you want to share with the Modified family out there? 2 weeks from today is our campfire. S'mores?
Question mark?
Hopefully.
We have the supplies, we just have to figure out how to do it in a way that we don't share germs.
Bring a stick.
So
Everybody bring your own
Have
stick.
I think we'll get a
Have
bunch
it
of those.
designated.
Can we do those little the dinosaur heads with the chompers that when you click it, the mouth opens and you
Oh, I know
can
what
grab
you're talking about.
something?
It's like the
and
the
then
grab nabbers.
The
like,
grab
things that,
nabbers,
shoot
I
out.
don't know. Yeah.
So
It's like a dinosaur head on a stick, and you have like a little pulley thing,
Wow.
and
It's
it
like
opens and closes the dinosaur
That
it's
took
mouth.
a long
there's
time
a-
to get nowhere.
There's a
And you
trigger.
you can grab it, and then you can like hand it to people and be 6 feet away, and that way you're not touching it. It's just the dinosaur
So there's like a
mouth.
trigger. There's
Okay,
like a little pull
well,
that opens up it, and
That's a
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
That's a thing.
No, like that's how we handed my grandpa his birthday cards. We
So-
each had a.
That's actually kind of fun. So we're not going to be doing that. We have another plan that you don't have to know all the details of. But good thoughts.
It's fine.
Yeah. So campfire. We might do some worship around it. We'll probably. I think Braden is scheduled to teach that night. So that's 2 weeks from today.
Jen gets you, Caycie.
Be COVID free by then.
The Jen
Make
gets
sure you bring your
Jen gets
masks.
me?
We don't
I
necessarily
love
need
Jen.
masks outside, but if we're singing, we'll probably have our masks on. Anything else? Hey, Jennifer knows what you're talking about. You can just say
Because
that.
I
It's
love
like-
which
it's
camera.
This one.
I love Jen.
It's got like a metal pole, and you pull it, and it releases a thing that like.
It's like
It,
in
like,
all the
pulls
kids'
the-
toy shop. Like it's like the one thing that I grabbed to annoy.
So,
my parents.
cool story. We have one final video, and then we're gonna jump out of here. So this is. Anybody have a robot vacuum? You have a robot vacuum? You have a robot vacuum?
Report.
Do I look like I have a robot vacuum?
They're like $100 now, people. There's.
Do I look like I have $100?
Okay. All right. Well, those of us who have a robot vacuum and are living in luxury. Of,
You really are.
having to clean it.
I have a
all the
hand
time.
vacuum.
Know how this goes. So we found this video. This dog is really trying to take down this vacuum. So here we go.
I have the video.
Back to you.
All
The
right.
video of the
So Caycie let us know that that is a Dalmatian while we were.
It's a Shiba Inu.
It's a what?
A Shiba
Is that a kind of a cat?
Inu.
Rabbit?
Shiba Inu.
All right, and on that note,
So
we
it's
will
a-
see you all next week here at Modified Live at 7, and then in 2 weeks on the 13th around the campfire. Until then, have a great time. Have a great, I don't know, Caycie and us.